In my program, Ignite Vision, we have what we call the 4 pillars that we've actually just created as a foundation for our life. And pillar number 2 says, everything in life happens for my highest and best. There are no accidents. Life happens for me, not to me. So when you think about that, I want to just kind of explore that a little bit and expound on it, because it's a pretty ballsy statement, isn't it? There are no accidents. Everything, everything, everything in my life happens for my highest and best. And life happens for me, not to me. So there might be some resistance to that in your mind, and that's okay, because this doesn't deal with our minds. Our minds are going to resist that. Our thought, as they are pre-programmed through our fear survival brain, of course it's going to resist that. But this is an issue of the heart. This is an issue of our true self, the one that came and is a piece of God, that is a piece of, created from, and still is a part of the divine, infinite intelligence, pure love. So there's the conflict, right? So the conflict is, which of these 2 things are really the truth? Because in this situation, there is a truth, the capital T truth. And depending on your perspective, depending on your belief structure, these are things you control. And your current wiring from the survival brain that has wired your thought, your beliefs, your experience perspective might come into conflict with this statement. Because when we say that life happens to me, that I can't control it, that there are problems, there are accidents, there are issues, that there are dangers, there are conflicts that we necessarily didn't initiate. And when we shift from that thinking to, first of all, are we in control? Are you in control of your life? It's also a control factor. In my book, The Monster Under the Bed, Uncovering the Lie That Drives Us, I didn't talk about control as a monster track. I laid out 10 monster tracks when I wrote the book, and control didn't even come to my mind to put it in as a monster track, like perfectionism, like comparison and people pleasing and blame and shame and button pushing, like all of that is in my book. But control is my number 1 monster track, so much that I didn't even see it till after the book came out. So I'm telling you right now, control would be up there with shame. It is a huge driving energy that the survival brain programmed as we were growing up, because we felt like we had to control something. Our life needed to be in our control, so we thought. And so this is one of these opportunities where, okay, what if you shifted to the idea, the call of your soul, the true self that says, shh, you're not in control. And we got it. We got your back. And everything that happens to you, all things work together for your good. Trust me. Trust the process. Trust divine oversight, because it's there. But if we don't know if we don't trust that it's there, we will never experience it. How many times in your life, just shut your eyes for a minute if you want, and let me ask you this question. Has there been a tragedy? In the moment, it was an insurmountable, emotionally horrible tragedy. Let's go to that far extreme. And in hindsight, you went, oh, wow, thank you for that. Or without that happening, this wouldn't have happened. And maybe to even smaller degrees, you lost a job, an opportunity that you were excited about fell through, a relationship dissolved, and in the moment it was horrible. You maybe experienced some abuse. I hear this a lot in the realm of abuse when you're a child. You're saying, everything in life happens for my highest and best, Kim. I got raped when I was 5. Okay. When you move to the bigger perspective, the eternal perspective, that everything happens for my highest and best, now your question will change as an adult, as a person now that has this faculty in the reasoning mind you didn't have when you were little to process it. Now you can actually pick out and look for and pick out and find and expound the gift that those experiences can now be viewed as, the gift that they gave you now from this perspective. In the moment, it seemed horrible. It seemed unexcusable. It seemed death, like death. But when you shift to this truth that there are no accidents, everything that's happening in the world right now in the eternal perspective, and that's who we really are. This life on earth time spot, this little slot of time in eternity is like a 2-week summer camp. That's what I laugh about. Our life experience on this planet is like 2-week summer camp. You're going to have mosquito bites and canoe rides and sunburns and great friends and marshmallows, and you're going to have it all. And so these experiences that we hold so tight, that they are the truth and they are horrible, when you shift to what was the purpose of that in my life and how can it be for my best? How can it serve me and the world? Now the answers are going to show up everywhere. Now doors will open in your consciousness that you didn't allow room for before because you were locked in without the idea of pillar number 2. So I don't know if it makes sense. It might not right now, and it's okay. But you can't get it wrong. You can't get it wrong if and until you start seeing things through the eyes of eternity and through our eternal nature and through the divine order that there is, because it's just an experience. That's all it is. The word mistake, problem, failure, those are all judgment words that we made up. There is no condemnation. There is no judgment. It's all a lesson. It's all, wow, now I see. I was once blind, but now I see the purpose of it. And I just challenge you today, if you're ready and wanting, and if this resonates with you, start asking different questions. Start looking through different eyes at the situations in your life, either from the past or that are in your current reality. Ask the question, how is this situation that I a minute ago would have called devastating, a problem, horrible, tragic, how is this for my best? And when you ask, you shall receive.